We're starting with the sport that unites the Caribbean on this rainy Wednesday edition of the SportsMax Zone. Now, coincidentally, it was similar weather conditions which led to the Jamaica Scorpions and the Barbados Pride forfeiting the championship match in this season's regional Super50 Cup in unprecedented fashion. Both captains failed to show for the toss after rain forced a rescheduled start time to the game, which was slated for November 23. That's last Saturday, of course. Now, Cricket West Indies' Director of Cricket, Miles Bascom, was a guest on the SportsMax Zone on Monday, and he recounted the events which led to the teams effectively refusing to play.
There was a lot of rain. The ground staff worked tirelessly, tried their best to get the facility in a condition that would be deemed safe for play. At around 5:43, the match officials did agree that the conditions were safe and proceeded to inform the captains. As you mentioned, the latest start time would have been 6:17, which was the time proposed by the match officials, and the toss set to take place at 6 p.m. And the captains did not show for the toss.
Yeah, Bascom also confirmed that the captain's actions did indeed violate CWI's behavioral principles, hinting strongly as well that disciplinary actions could be taken against both parties.
There was an infringement of the code of conduct, and as far as I'm aware, the match referee has raised charges against both captains. So those will have to be answered to. The captains will decide whether they would accept those charges and the penalties proposed, or whether they are going to dispute those charges. And then, as I said, the process is pretty much set out that the matter will be heard by the disciplinary committee, and then the disciplinary committee will rule on the matter.
All right, we've heard from CWI. Now, let's get to the president of the Jamaica Cricket Association, Dr. Donovan Bennett. He joins us via Zoom, hopefully to provide some insight into what might have led to the Scorpions' failure to take the field. In fact, Dr. Bennett is joining us via the phone. Yeah, Dr. Bennett, good afternoon and welcome to the SportsMax Zone. I know you met with members of the Jamaica Scorpions team to the Super50 tournament on their return to the island on Sunday. What can you tell us at this stage?
Well, I am very apprehensive to say anything at this stage. I know that is why you're having me on, but this thing has taken a very bad turn. I mean, we hear about cases being filed in court, so I am not sure how appropriate it would be for me to make any comments. All I can tell you is that what you heard from the director of cricket, Miles Bascom, is an accurate, fairly accurate picture of what actually took place. At the end of the day, it's umpires who have the right to decide whether the conditions are fit for play or not. So I would have preferred if the two teams had acted in a way acknowledging the supremacy of the umpires in this matter. Yes, I know that there were problems with the condition. I know that there were problems with the time given for warm-up to take place. And it's not just warm-up, because some of the players who are carrying injuries would have to be taped. So I know that the players thought that there was not sufficient time to be properly warm and to be properly taped. But having said all of that, the umpires are the ones who have the power and the responsibility to make the assessment and to decide whether play is possible or not. So I would have preferred if play had taken place, and then whatever problems the captains and the team had could have gone into the captain's report. I think that would have been a better option. But, you know, it is what it is, and I know that some charges are being leveled against the captain. Serious charges. So we just have to wait until the disciplinary committee meets. And of course, I'm sure that Reaper will get involved at some stage of the game. So what is happening is not good for West Indies cricket. Because we're just getting to the stage now where everybody, there's cooperation on all sides, and everybody is trying to do their best to enhance the results for the region. So it has come at a very bad time. Like I said before, I don't want to cast judgment on anybody. All I can say is that I would have preferred if the game had been played, and then subsequent to that, whatever ill feeling that the captains would have had, they could have written it into their reports, and then that would have been examined, and the appropriate action would have been taken.
Yeah, Dr. Bennett, can you bring us up to speed, because you mentioned earlier about cases being filed in court? Can you bring us up to speed with what's happening there?
I am here that principals at the Barbados Cricket Association have filed some sort of action against the West Indies, Cricket West Indies. I am not. I have heard this. I have not been privy to any more information. I'm just saying to you that this is what I'm hearing, and the entire matter is going now into the wrong direction. It's going to be one side or two sides against the other sides, and that is not good for the cricket. So I would have hoped that there would have been a softening of positions on both sides, and then some accommodation made so that we could move on. But at this point in time, it doesn't seem to me that is going to happen.
Yeah, of course, we are tracking the story closely, and we are set to speak with someone from the Barbados Cricket Association in the coming days. Hopefully, that will be on tomorrow's show, so we will get clarity on what you just spoke about. But before I go any further, Dr. Bennett, I just want to get from you, almost on a personal standpoint, how difficult a situation is this for you, given that you are president of the Jamaica Cricket Association, so essentially in charge of the Jamaica Scorpions franchise, but you are also a director of Cricket West Indies?
Yeah, so that puts me in a very difficult position. Like I said before, I am hoping that we can have a conciliatory approach, and that we can have this matter settled in an amicable way. But like I said before, I'm having my doubts now because of the action that I hear the Bajans are taking. So, it may go into a direction where things could get very, very difficult for the region.
Yeah, Dr. Donovan, this one, have you been in conversation with, let's just say, the captain of your team, or maybe even the coach?
I didn't get that.
Yeah, I was asking if you had any sort of conversation with your captain or your coach since the incident.
We had a meeting yesterday with the entire group in we had a meeting with the captain and the two coaches yesterday. They gave their side of the story, which says that basically that we thought conditions were not fit for play, and that we are worried about our players getting injured, and that we were not given enough time to warm up and to do taping, and so we didn't turn up to play. I understand that, but like I said before, unfortunately, that is the umpire's call, not the players.
Yeah, and with the position that you hold, that's why you're on the show, right? Whenever things happen, people always point fingers at the president. It comes with that position, and it's not a secret. People would have been in that position before you, and anything happens, the president, his name gets called first. So do you see yourself, having conversations with players just moving forward so that in instances like this, a lot of them, they understand, the repercussions, the rules, because sometimes, we act in a moment and we're not really sure about what really the consequences can be.
Right, and that is exactly what took place. I am just disappointed that during the course of this decision making that a call had not been made home, because if a call had been made to the principal, the leadership of the JCA, I'm sure the outcome might have been different, but we were not involved in any way at all. We actually had no part in the decision making. We heard about all of this, subsequent to what took place.
Yeah, and you say outcome, Dr. Bennett, and my question to you now is, where do we go from here? Like, I'm thinking about timelines, what comes next. Do we just wait and see what Cricket West Indies says? What happens?
Yeah, well, right now, there are two sides, and I am just hoping that we can come to, as I said before, an accommodation where the players will clearly understand that the umpires are in charge, but at the same time, we need to also understand what the players were thinking, why they were thinking. They might have not been on the right track, but I don't want to see a situation where the players are hauled over the coal for this, because I know that during the course of competitions, emotions can run pretty high, and that can that doesn't help, with our thinking. People, will make the wrong decisions in the heat of the moment. So I'm just hoping that can be recognized and that the matter can be settled in an amicable way where we can move on with the cricket. Because we need all the players, and I don't want to have a situation where players are banned and that sort of thing. Like I said before, I would prefer a situation where some accommodation is made and that we can move forward without going to extremes in this matter.
Yeah, completely understand that, Dr. Bennett. In terms of the financial implications to the Jamaica Cricket Association, how serious do you suspect? Because you've missed out on, at least $50,000 for finishing runners-up, or if there was a no result, you would end up with, $75,000 US?
Yeah, well, most of that would have gone to the players themselves. So the players are the ones who lose out in all of this. We have a system in place where whatever prize money is earned by the players, they get 60% and we get 40%. So we do lose a small sum, but I think the players are the ones who will lose the most, because it's not just the prize money; it is also the match fees that they will lose. So that is where we are with that. The financial implications might very well fall on Cricket West Indies, because remember now that this match was being beamed by ESPN. We do have a contract with ESPN to carry all our domestic games and our international games also, and also we do have a sponsor who might not be very happy with what has taken place. So I think that those two matters that I mentioned may become a problem for Cricket West Indies. I hope not, but I can foresee that there may be a problem with both the sponsor and the network that carries the content.
Yeah, completely understand that, Dr. Bennett. Listen, I'm not even 100% sure if you're the man I should be asking this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Because let me tell you what's out there. There is a school of thought that the concerns of the players and the team management on both the part of the Scorpions and the Barbados Pride were legitimate concerns in terms of the readiness of the field. And there is a feeling that there was almost a desperation on the part of the officials to get a match because of television rights.
Right.
And that maybe the best interest of the players were not taken into account in that decision-making process, and the players were left feeling that they needed to take their best interest in their own hands. And I put it that way to ask you the question, in a situation like this, who will lobby on behalf of the players and what they felt were legitimate concerns on the day that led them to the decision that they made?
Yeah, well, there has to be a hearing. There has to be a disciplinary hearing because charges have been made. So we'd expect WIPA to defend the players and to act on their behalf. And like I said before, I hope it doesn't. I hope it gets to the stage where both sides can join hands together and take a serious look at what took place and to move forward. I mean, to move forward with some sort of harmony in all of this, because the direction that this thing is taking right now is not a good one. It's not in the best interest of the players, and it is not in the best interest of CWI either. So I hope we can meet and have some accommodation on both sides.
Yeah, so one quick one before we go, Dr. Bennett. So I completely understand the role of WIPA going forward. Can you explain to us, if any at all, the role of the Jamaica Cricket Association going forward in the process?
I don't think that the Jamaica Cricket Association will have a serious role to play. We do have reps who are members of CWI, and that is where our message will be carried. But to say, will the JCA get directly involved? I hard to think so.
Okay.
Completely understand, Dr. Bennett. Thank you very much for joining us and being as candid as you can be. You definitely gave us a lot of information today. It was great speaking with you. We'll chat again soon.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. All right.
All right. Mariah, what a situation here.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, for who though?
For a lot of those involved, because we're talking to the president. I'm sure it's a very uncomfortable discussion for him, who, as he said, he wasn't even consulted before a decision was made. But as I said to him, when you sit in a particular position, it's, a lot of things come with it. And then for the players too, because I know how I am. I can act in the heat of the moment, and then afterwards you think about what are the repercussions. Things can happen. So as he said, it's not good for the cricketers, it's not good for the sport, it's not good for CWI. So I really hope they come to some sort of agreement.
So I heard Dr. Bennett loud and clear, and I do understand. I played cricket at the high school level, so I know that at the end of the day, the umpires have the final say as to what happens in the course of a cricket match. If an umpire gives you out, whether you think it's out or not, you have to leave the field of play. That's just the way it is. If the umpires say that the ground is fit for play, then you have to go out there. But I don't think in this situation we should overlook that it wasn't one team that made this decision. We're talking about two teams challenging for a regional title, and both of them saying these conditions are not safe for us, because that's what I'm picking up from what Dr. Bennett said, from what I've heard from my sources, that the players did not feel that conditions were safe, even though the officials said that conditions were safe. And clearly the players, the teams, weighed that against
financial aspect.
Well, not just financial. I mean, whatever potential sanctions
everything.
that they
That's
might
what
receive,
I'm thinking.
and decided that it wasn't worth it. And I just think in a situation like this, Mariah, we cannot overlook that it was both teams.
Yeah, of course.
Not just
that
one,
speaks volumes.
but both teams. And I think a deeper investigation, and I don't know who's going to do that investigation. Maybe it's WIPA who has to step in and get an investigation done to speak specifically to what the conditions were and whether they were actually safe enough for the players to go out there. But we're out of time. We have to take a break.
Yeah.